ng lahat ng mga tao. This is INCRadio. Anywhere in the world, oh, we are always together, connected to everyone. Life will be better.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. All the listeners here from Micronesia. My name is Sister Randy from the local congregation of Machanao, and I will be your host this evening. And we also have our other crew members joining us who will introduce themselves later on. So for our topic this evening, it is called Delicacies of the Islands. So here in Micronesia, we are consist of many different islands like Guam, Saipan, Yap, Palau, Pohnpei, and many other islands create the that create Micronesia. And so in our discussion today, our guest will share with us the various delicious foods or delicacies in her island, and what how are they different, from her culture, and what are the differences and similarities that she can notice, after living there for so long as well. So before we get into our discussion, we want to introduce our guest, Sister Krisha.
Hello po, happy viewing. I am Sister Krisha Rodriguez. I am so happy to be back po. For the new viewers, I am from the local congregation of Coblerville here on the island of Saipan.
Yes, it is so nice to have our Sister Krisha back here on INC Radio Micronesia. She is one of our um, sisters here in our district, and also there, as she mentioned, in the island of Saipan. So, Sister Krisha, as we talk about delicacies of the islands, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the staple or popular foods there in the island of Saipan?
So here on the island of Saipan, I'm sure it's not that different when it comes to Guam, like the diversity. But I noticed that though we are diverse, we always still reach out to barbecue. Whether it be pork, chicken, everyone still reaches out for barbecue. Fried chicken, I guess that's a staple for everyone. Lechon. And when it comes to the locals, I notice that their staple can be kelaguen. Yeah, so those are the staple foods that I notice within the island of Saipan.
Now that you mentioned that, because I've never been to the island of Saipan, but I have heard that there are many similarities between the island of Guam and the island of Saipan. And now that you mentioned, some of the popular or the staple foods, they are similar, or they are actually the same, right? And I also wanted to ask you, right, because I know you're from the island of Tinian. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the staple foods there in Tinian? Is it the same, or are they different?
So on the island of Tinian, it's pretty much the same also. Fried chicken, that is a staple. And the staple also from Tinian would be musubi. There's tuna musubi, there is spam musubi. So um, that has, ever since I grew up in Tinian, I noticed like even if you eat that almost every day, or that would be your snack or something, it's like you won't get tired of it. So I think those are the two staple foods that I can think of in Tinian. Yeah.
those are actually kind of also the same here on Guam, especially the spam musubi. I think the tuna musubi not so much, but the spam one for sure. I think even if you when you were younger, or even I think until now, right, we still eat that, and we still enjoy that just as much as we did when we were younger, right? And as we continue to talk about the staple foods in our islands, I wanted to ask, like, what aspects do you think are different and or similar between dishes on the island of Saipan, so on the island that you stay, and in your culture? So, have you seen any similarities or differences between staying in Saipan and also, um, because we're Filipino, right? And so in the Philippines, what are things that you find the same or different?
So, like I mentioned earlier, our islands have been, full of diverse people. And so, let's just say nilaga, right? So, we like it with chicken. That's usually the one. And I noticed that even the locals here, they like it. But we also have those different taste buds, right? Some people prefer more sweet. Some people prefer a little more salty. And I'm saying that because I've seen and heard that they make nilaga with corned beef. So that really surprises me. And then there's also, let's say, lugaw. Okay. Fun fact, I'm not really into lugaw. I'm not sure why. But what's this lugaw? Filipinos, right? That's well known for us, but with locals, it's called sarakilis. So that our lugaws usually like mga light colored, right? But with sarakilis, it's more like on the orange side, like the color. And I think it's because of the spices that they put. And then when it comes to dessert, leche flan. Do you like leche flan, Sister Randy?
Yes, I love that. And actually that's one of the desserts that my mom makes often.
Yeah, so leche flan, right? We love that. But I noticed that here on Saipan and even on Tinian, there's this dessert called lantizas. So it's not like a soft texture as leche flan, but it's more like a cake breading with cinnamon on top. But that's just the similar taste of like when it comes to sweetness. Well, I'm not saying they're the same taste. It's just that that's what we each prefers when it comes to like sweet treats. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Actually, now that you mention it, I didn't actually realize that those are similar in some way, or it's like their take on certain dishes in the Filipino culture, right? Or it's like what you mentioned earlier, the corned beef in the nilaga. It's like what do you call it? Like fusion dishes, right? Like there's so many restaurants here on Guam, right? When you were here, Sister Krisha, there's so many restaurants, but a lot of them are fusion dishes, which is like they mix two cultures and make it into one dish kind of thing. So I would say the same thing here on Guam. I think Guam and the Philippines, they share um cuisines that have several similarities, but they also have their distinct differences. I think one similarity I would say that Guam and the Philippines have is um, rice is a staple, right? Um, they have it with every dish, and then I know here on Guam it's the red rice is what they call it. And do they also have that in Saipan? They have the red rice, right? Red rice, right?
Yeah, so I noticed there's different types of ways they make red rice, and it's really awesome to taste like different ones.
Yeah, I've never tried red rice from like so many different places. Um, just at maybe like birthdays and things like that. So homemade type, right? In a few restaurants as well. But I don't think I've tried so many different kinds where I can kind of tell the difference. But I think that is um I think it's just I just always like it. But I think if you're really a foodie, you would know like the difference in every kind of dish. And I think also it's like um with the similarities between the two cultures is also, I know a lot of people say that Calaguin is like the same as sisig. I don't know if you've heard that, but I've heard that a
Oh,
few times.
you're right. I'm thinking about that. You're right.
Yes, I've heard that a few times. But there are also those who say that, oh no, they're different from each other. But of course, it's, to each their own, right? So it's, however you think is the same or what is different to you. But of course, that also, it just really all depends on the person. And I think another similarity is the use of like coconut. Like coconut milk is used in a lot of dishes. Um, I would say I've seen a lot of dishes in the Chamorro culture and the Filipino culture where they use coconut milk, and I think um, that's a big similarity. I think between the two because I don't know if you're a fan of dishes that have like coconut milk, right? And things like that. But I'm a big fan. I'm not so picky with my food, but that's one of the big similarities that I saw um between Guam and the Philippines. And so as we continue with our discussion, right? We talked about the staple foods in the island of Saipan and the island of Guam. What are the differences and similarities? Something I wanted to ask you, Sister Krisha, is what are some must try delicacies or dishes that you would recommend to tourists if they went there to Saipan? Whether they're popular dishes or maybe it's something not so popular. Maybe it's something you tried that you really liked, but not a lot of people know about it. Or seasonal dishes like things that are good in the summer or during the springtime. What are some that you recommend?
Sister Randy, I'm getting hungry already, and I already ate dinner earlier. But it really depends on what you like. So if you're more on the savory side, hmm, well, there's a lot to think of. They're like kare in some restaurants po dito. Like it really hits. Like there's really it's really good when you try, let's say, crispy pata with kare. Yeah, some restaurants they would offer that, and I think that's like a must try. And then let's see, if you're more on the sweet side, we have macarons. Yeah. So did you know that there's a difference with macaroons and macarons? I hope everyone knows that, right? Oh, Sister Jillian doesn't know. So macaroons is basically with coconut, and then macaron is like those little cute burger looking, but it's actually not a burger, you know? So yeah, we have that here for mga macarons, and then there's also this dessert where it's like a croissant, I think, right, Sister Jillian? And then it has like whipped cream and then like fruits on top. So that one too. And then what else? There's also like sushi plates. So you can choose like which style of sushi that you would like. Um, for the I would also say burgers are becoming a thing here, and I think that some restaurants they have a variety, like a style of the burger that they're serving. So I think that's that. But other than that, like everywhere you go, it's a must try. Like you're gonna figure out which restaurant that you would like, and if you like the way they cook it. So yeah.
Wow, there's so many that you have so many recommendations. You might have to take me to those places if ever I visit the island of Saipan, right, Sister Christian, Sister Julian? And I did also know the difference between the macaroon and the macaron. And it was funny, Sister seeing Sister Julian's reaction. She was like, "What? Like there's a difference?" She's like, "It's not just the spelling." But yes, there is a difference between the two. So I hope that, if one day I go to the island of Saipan, you guys can kind of take me to those places. And I would say also here on the island of Guam, there's like a good spread of dishes that I would also recommend. Like you said, what's the same between the two islands is like the barbecue, right? And something I would recommend is the Kelaguen with the titiza, which is the like the corn bread type of thing here, or the corn made of corn or flour. Um, I would recommend that to tourists or people who come here for the first time. That's one dish that I would recommend to them, together, not separately. They can try it separately, but I would recommend it like eating it together. And there's also some restaurants here that they are fusion, but they also have a good spread of local food, so tomorrow food that I would also recommend to them as well. So all of this talk about food makes me so hungry, and like you said, Sister Krisha, you're also getting hungry, and I know Sister Jillian is also getting hungry over there in the islands of Saipan with you. So we thank you so much, Sister Krisha, for joining us here tonight, and also for joining us in our discussion, as well as those in our YouTube live chat. I was reading some of their comments, and they're also sharing some of their answers with us as well, and we'll hear some of them with Sister Jillian.
Hi everyone, I'm Sister Jillian Myers from the local congregation of Saipan, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. And before we continue, here's our YouTube engagement question for the night. If someone is traveling to your island for the first time, what's one dish they have to try? We'd love to hear your answers, so make sure to drop them in the live chat. And if this is your first time tuning into our broadcast, here's how you can support us.
Live chat. Thank you for supporting us. We love hearing about your experiences here on INCRadio. Let us also know where you are joining us from.
Are you familiar with our hashtag challenge? If not, you can also participate by mentioning your local congregation as well as which Christian family organization you belong to.
Near the end of our broadcast, we will announce the hashtag challenge winners, so please continue engaging with us in the comments below. We hope you have a nice day and enjoy our show.
Thank you so much for Kuya Tech. And now let's move on to our segment of reading the YouTube comments. So thank you so much to everyone who's being active in the live chat. We've been seeing some amazing greetings and answers to our discussion questions. So now let's take a look to what some of you had said. So first up we have Brother Roger Villegas saying, "Good evening po to our district minister, Brother Joven Sapilio Jr. and family po. Good evening po to our assistant district minister, Brother Julius Malabanan and family po. Hashtag Cobblerville." We also have Sister Erin Villegas saying, "Good evening, District of Micronesia and brethren around the world, especially to our district minister, Brother Joven Sapilio Jr. and to our assistant district minister, Brother Julius Malabanan and to their family po." We also have Sister Eileen Crelencio saying, "Good evening po to everyone. Sending love and greetings from hashtag Jigo, hashtag Koror Palau, hashtag Buklod." And now we also have Sister Michelle Giang saying, "Happy Friday po to all kapatid, hashtag Garapan." And we have Sister Jade Pasha saying, good evening po, Micronesia. I'm excited to I'm excited as always for tonight's discussion po. Hashtag Saipan, hashtag Binhi, hashtag CWS. We have Sister Irene Reyes saying, "Good evening po, greetings from the local of Machanao." We have Brother Renzo saying, "Hi po, brethren, hashtag Cobblerville, hashtag Buklod." And we also have Brother Mike saying, "Good evening po, brethren in Micronesia, hashtag Cobblerville and hashtag Buklod." And next up, we also have our YouTube question answers. First off, there is Sister Jade Pasha saying, "If someone was traveling somewhere, they should try chicken adobo. Both our islands in the Philippines and islands in Micronesia have a share with this dish, and they make it in their way but similar." We also have Brother Jerry from the local of Cobblerville saying he knows how to make leche flan, which is my favorite po. And we also have Sister Irene Reyes saying they must try red rice, barbecue, and curry curry. And we have Brother Lorenzo Pasha saying adobo is very good for someone to try po. And we have Sister Charlene Fading and she said, I think one of my favorite delicacies from Saipan and Guam that is a must try is lentillas, which is a common custard or sponge cake, and when added to gelato, which makes it even better. And we have Sister Jade Pasha again saying that she agrees with Sister Faye Dinogan that Latias is so good here in the islands and that the islanders have good dishes too po. And we also have Sister Eileen Kulenta saying the Kapampangan brethren have some the best buro that we've ever tasted. And we also have Sister Jade Pasha once again saying Buenalos are also great food delicacies from our islands. So they are somewhat like donuts and it could be banana flavored and they are amazing. I wonder if there is a strawberry flavor because I love strawberry. And also we have my mother, Sister Jenna Maya, hashtagging hashtag Saipan and hashtag choir. So that's all for the comments in our broadcast today. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in their greetings and shared their answers. And it's really always nice to hear from all of you and see how much we all love our local foods. Also, now let's move on to our next segment, which is the CFO in action.
CFO in action.
So we have the local congregation of Machinao Volleyball Clinic in April 20 and LOS special gathering and oath taking on April 21. And for Micronesia's lineup, there will there will be a Manilao Korean Childhood Games on April 27.
Thank you, Sister Jillian. We hope that everyone will participate and join us in these activities. And as we talk about inviting you and joining us, we also invite you to our broadcast next weekend, which is Friday, May 2nd, 2025 at 9:30 p.m. Chamorro Standard Time. And we hope that everyone who has joined us this evening, you continue to join us in our upcoming broadcast. We have a lot of exciting topics prepared for everyone. And we also thank you so much again for always supporting us here on INC Radio Micronesia. And as we end our show, we would like to end our show with our greetings and thank yous, starting with Sister Jillian.
Before we end our broadcast, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks and greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to our CEBSI President, CEO, and CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Aranyo Manalo, and to our District Minister, Brother Joben Sepulya Jr., Assistant District Minister, Brother Julius Malabanan, to our CFO Overseer, Brother Roger Manzanilla Jr., and to our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Roger Villegas Jr.
Thank you, Sister Jillian. And we also would like to thank our crew members there in the island of Saipan, Sisters Bam, Gwen, and Jillian, and brothers RY, Matt, Judah, and Joff. And also here in the island of Guam, Ates Arlene, Anne, Faye, Marissa, and Kuyas Randy, Michael, and Sean. And we also would like to thank our station manager, Brother Wali Taray, and our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel and Daya. And we'd like to once again thank everyone who joined us here on INC Radio Micronesia, as well as to our guest tonight, Sister Cresia Rodriguez. We hope that you continue to support us in our upcoming broadcast. And thank you so much for always joining our discussions and also our games and all of the things that we have prepared here in our broadcast. And we would just like to say good night, Micronesia, and we hope to see you all again next week. Thank you po.